maintain your discipline.
But then women are leaving because of sex, leaving because of financial reasons that we said. So it's not about. I think sex is insignificant.
Okay. Did you know one of the number one indicators of divorce is the woman out earning the man?
I can see that, yeah.
But it goes back to because the woman. One of the reasons is because the woman is around all these men that she wants.
But then if we're talking about is it sex or is it money? Because if she's leaving because he's not earning enough, that's different than this.
No, that's
sex.
selfish. But it's about being a selfish woman. That is selfish. If you're leaving and breaking up a home because he's not earning enough money, that's selfish. It's okay to want that, but if you sign the papers, if you got married to him and now you think you're above him because you make more.
I remember we're talking about characteristics here. So with the characteristics of a woman that wants to free up for everybody, when she is around men that she wants, she's going to act on those feelings. Whereas a woman who's more disciplined is able to say no to things because she's had less. She's more likely to be a sexual relationship.
And they say that 20% of men are raising a kid that's not theirs. That's why they don't want a promiscuous woman. They're afraid they're going to pass their resources onto the wrong, onto a kid that's not theirs.
Well, unknowing.
And that's very, very scary for most men. In fact, most men are even scared of asking for a DNA from their baby mamas, from their wives, because they know the woman is going to go crazy. Oh, you think I'm cheating on you? How dare you ask me to take a DNA test? You think these are not your kids? Even when the guy can clearly see the kid looks like Boogie and doesn't look like him, he's going to be afraid of asking for a DNA. But some of you guys are raising kids that don't belong to you. And some of you guys, your fathers are not your real fathers, but you don't want to have that conversation.
Or knowing.
Or not knowing.
So how do they get the statistic? I don't know. It's
DNA tests.
So when they come to find out.
When they find out, I just want to know how that was possible.
We literally spoke to a lady yesterday that said that the kid was 11 years old before he found out. The woman just came clean because her conscience couldn't take it no more.
Mad. 11 years.
This is what men have to go through.
Do you think they?
Wild.
Do you think the women stay or do you think they settle? Because it's like, if they've been exposed to A, B, and C men, one toxic, one really nice, they know how then to spot a really nice guy and a toxic one. Whereas like if they've had maybe one boyfriend and that's the only toxic one they've had, that's the only familiarity they've had with a partner. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes having, say, a promiscuous girl, they have that knowledge now.
You see what it is?
To go ahead, like men do, because you're saying now men can spread their seed, so they know what they want.
Logically, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then we have the data to prove that doesn't work. So what you're saying would make sense in an ideal world, but ideally that doesn't actually happen.
I mean, why do you think fathers were so involved in the vetting process for women? We don't make good decisions in men on our own.
Oh, I don't
Facts. But now it's like probably out of 10 kids, 7 of them are going to grow in a house without a father. So how are men going to be raised to be good fathers, good husbands, and how are daughters going to be raised to be good wives? Because they say the woman's first love is the father. But if the father is not in the house, how are they ever going to respect men? And this is why we see so much misandrist and hateful men and this is why the single mother rate is actually getting worse. Because guess what? Kids who come from single mother households, there's a chance they're gonna replicate that, which we call generation curses. Because they didn't know what a two-parent household looks like. So guess what? When they become adults as well, they're going to continue that same behavior. The daughter will have maybe kids with different men, break up with different men, maybe divorce different men. The son will have kids with different women as well, because I didn't see my father staying with my mom and having just us in a house. He was having different kids with different women. So both the daughter and the son are going to do exactly what the mom and the dad were doing.
Like that's why half of women over 30 are single and childless, because the average age of first marriage is 27 to 28 in the US, and in the UK it's 31. So clearly, how involved is your dad going to be in the vetting process for a husband if you're 31?
Saying that as well, look at the idea that when people say, "Oh, she has daddy issues," because without a masculine presence to guide you, you're bound to make bad mistakes.
A father presence, masculine. Not all fathers are masculine.
Yeah, for a masculine father, a masculine presence that is able to tell right from wrong when it comes to men.
What about a beta father?
Beta?
I'm just saying, because not all men are alpha. Sorry, not all men are alpha. So I think having
More
a father.
men were alpha back then.
I think having a father figure. For example, my godfather that brought me up, he wasn't what macho man. he provided.
Masculine doesn't mean macho man though.
I know, but we said earlier that's what people go to.
Dependable. It didn't say macho.
Okay, masculine. So masculine for me is a macho. I don't see it as leadership because leadership is
that might be a characteristic.
My mistake.
Let me tell you what I think of when I think of masculine, just from like a woman's point of view. It's a guy that doesn't put up with women's shit. So when I think of a beta guy, I think of a guy that just bends over and does whatever the girl wants, and he's just will do anything to make her happy, but not in a good way. Like he's a kiss ass. And when I think of a masculine man, I think of a guy that is not afraid to say no and put his foot down, and he enjoys being the leader in a relationship.
Yeah, but the issue is the guys who don't put up with their BS, they call those guys controlling. They call them abusive. They call them toxic. They call them, you hate women. So men are saying, so you want me to be a leader, but then you're going to call me controlling and abusive. So men are doing the math and they're like, you know what? Rather than getting a false allegation against me and ruin my life, I'm not dealing with this. So men are like either getting on the plane, going to Brazil, Colombia, wherever they go, or men are just checking out from the relationships.
Because we don't like men that we can walk all over.
Correct. True.
Yeah. Like the nice guys, they're not actually nice. They're just trying to buy your attention with things instead of just being a masculine man.
Yeah, I don't know, because like my godfather, for example, he would lead, but my godmother would choose what he's gonna wear when they go out. Some men, that's like, no, what are you doing? But he's like, whatever.
It's different dynamics.
He doesn't take anything from me to put on the clothes she chose out for me in the wardrobe. But I realised that now that might seem as though he's a beta man or he's not a masculine man, but he definitely ran the household. But so did she. So maybe I've seen different dynamics happening.
Well, men and women have different roles in households. I mean,
100%.
I mean, some masculine men, they're not afraid to dish out responsibilities to women that they're good at. Like my parents ran a business together and my mom is very organized. My dad isn't. She did a lot of the organization type stuff, right? And like the finances. But at the end of the day, he's dishing out the responsibilities. She's not.
Yeah, but the issue is these days women look at that as slavery. You know, like women look at a man who tells her something to do. For example, in her case, she's saying the mom was better at organizing. So if the dad was like, hey, you know what, I really struggle with organizing, do you mind helping me organize with this ABCD? Some women would look at that as controlling and slavery. How dare you tell me what to do? But when it comes to paying the bills, she wants him to pay the bills. Because trust me, when women say they want to go 50-50 in a relationship, they're not talking about bills. No, they're talking about, I'm going to cook on Monday, my husband should cook on Tuesday. I'm going to take care of the kids on Wednesday, my husband should take care of the kids on Thursday. But when it comes to paying the bills, now you better be a man. Now you better be a leader. Now you're the man. You're a real man, pays all the bills. Now I don't want to go 50-50. Now how dare you let a woman pay bills? You feel me? So they pick and choose when they want a man to be a leader. They pick and choose when they want a man to be controlling. So when it comes to paying bills, they want a man who's controlling, who's toxic. I want you to be toxic masculine and pay all the bills. You know, I want you to tell me what to do by telling me not to pay bills. Then they can listen to a man.
He's the one saying what's happening. If there's a big move, he's the one making the decision. She's not. And that's part of, we talk about submission at times.
Did he ask for her opinion in making those decisions before making the...
Oh yeah. I mean, of course he's gonna, but she had to earn that. He didn't just off the bat ask for her opinion all the time.
How did she earn it?
How did she earn it? Loyalty and showing that she's competent.
And giving him peace, I imagine, as well.
Yeah. I mean, because my mom and dad went to different colleges, and basically my dad told my mom, you can either move to me or find a different boyfriend. And she moved to him, quit, and then she ended up getting a teaching degree. She quit her teaching job to work for my dad and helped him build a multi-million-dollar business. They had 10 kids.
That's
but
very rare
in
to
modern day,
find.
they would say, don't take that risk for a man. It's only going to end up, don't quit your job for a man. It's only going to end poorly.
And it's funny, my dad would say a similar thing. My dad would say to my mum, or he said and tell us, is that I would see the bigger picture while she sees all the finer details. So everybody has their role to play within the system.
It's the cultures as well behind it. Like there's a lot of, I was with like a lot of Filipino people from like the older generation, and in their like culture, at least back in their day, was for the women as well, get an education first. If you was to get married before an education, the family would disown you because it's like one snap of a divorce and you've got nothing, and you've left us with
in
nothing.
The Filipino culture.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's interesting. I don't know much about it.
I don't know about like all around that continent of Asia, but at least there they said to me, education always comes first, and then when you have that education backed up, then you would go pursue maybe a relationship or whatever. Because if you left, especially with a woman, changing your last name, there's nothing there holding you as much towards them. So it really does depend on the culture with the presence with people. I don't know if you want to get a statistic, but
no,
no.
What I was looking up is when I want to see how westernized a country is, I look at the average age of first marriage in a country. So one country I didn't realize was so westernized is Ireland. The average age of first marriage there is like 34 and 35. Because the more traditional it is, they get married younger typically, is what I've seen. This is just anecdotal, but in the Philippines it's 27 and 29. So I guess they're westernized too.
Are they now?
Yeah.
Well, at least the people I speak were much older. So I don't know if it was just because older times, like you said, your parents would have said something different because maybe in their times it was different. But I know now it's probably more.
Yeah, but the issue is there is nothing wrong with people focusing on their careers and, choosing that, hey, listen, don't get married first, just focus on your degrees and stuff like that. But the issue is every time you focus on something, there's something else that gives. So if we focus, and especially for the ladies, because remember, when ladies focus on their careers and money, that's good, but it's good for them. Like, because you know how men say, I'm going to make this money, find me a nice girl, start a family, provide for my kids and stuff like that. Women, usually, when they focus on the money and degrees, they are like, I'm independent. Independent of who? Of men. So it's not like they're making money to to find a husband and have kids and provide for the family. No, they're looking for money to be independent of men. So at the end of the day, obviously that is going to lead to, less marriages because they're focusing more on their careers. Because remember, relationships are a skill. So if the skill you have is becoming a lawyer, but you haven't developed or you are not taught the skills of a relationship with a man and woman and marriage and what it takes to hold up a marriage and the importance of marriage and the importance of staying together with a man or with a woman, guess what? The marriage rate is going to go lower. And guess what? The divorces are going to be higher because people can't communicate with each other. They can't tolerate each other because they were not taught the skill of relationships and being married to each other. Because we didn't make it a priority. We made education a priority. So the family is going to suffer. Like I said, if you focus more on one thing, something else is going to take a hit. So in the day we live in right now, in this day and age, relationships and marriages and family structures are taking a hit from chasing all the money and the independence that we want. But anyway, just shout out to Just Probably Things, link down below to the channel.